We've shared a few ways brands can build digital readiness into their approach using agile marketing, a test and learn mindset, which you heard Sarah talk about, and bridging organizational silos. At the core of being ready, brands need to consider inclusion from the beginning to ensure all users and customers, regardless of ability or experience, can fully access content, products, and experiences. And that's what our next session will discuss. I'd like to welcome Head of Brand Accessibility at Google, KR Liu, joined by the founder and president of LaVant Consulting, which is a disability-focused strategy and communications firm, Andraéa LaVant. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to be here with you all, with Andraéa, to talk about the importance of accessibility marketing. I want to ask you, Andraéa, why don't you tell me about how LaVant Consulting started?
First of all, I'm thrilled to be here. Koji and I are thrilled to be with you today. So in terms of LaVant Consulting, I actually started out working in the nonprofit industry. And within that industry, you get exposure to a lot of other industries, corporate, philanthropic, government. And there was a key thing that I noticed, and it was honestly that people were afraid to address disability. It wasn't so much about a lack of desire to be inclusive, but it was just that many organizations, many companies expressed that they just didn't know how to approach accessibility in their work. And so I recognized that no matter what the industry was, there was some bridging that needed to happen. And we really wanted to, and what I wanted to do was to be able to invite, to engage, and show people how to value disabled people within their organizations and in their communities.
Absolutely. And there is a human and business imperative for including accessibility in your work, and creative work especially. Can you talk to why accessibility marketing matters?
Well, accessible marketing matters because it allows all users, regardless of diagnosis or disability or ability, to fully engage and to fully access brands' content, their products, and their experiences. The fact is, disability impacts everyone.
Absolutely.
At some point, almost everybody is going to experience disability in one way or another, whether it's that they have it or that they know somebody that has a disability.
Absolutely. And there are 1 billion people with disabilities, 1 in 4 adults in the US. And globally, that's 1 billion potential users we can reach. That represents $8 trillion in spending power. And brands benefit from creating accessibility in marketing because it opens up their work to a wider and more diverse audience. The industry often approaches accessibility from a product perspective, but not a storytelling perspective, right? Mm-hmm. And marketers know it's important to address, to address the community's needs, but often they don't know where to start, right? And they don't know how to authentically engage and represent people with disabilities in ads and content. So where can brands start?
Well, there's a phrase within our community that we use a lot. It's nothing about us without us. It's understanding that there is value for us, meaning disabled people, to be a part of these conversations. It's about bringing in people with lived experiences with disabilities and not just giving them a seat at the table, but making sure that they have the space to share and be decision makers. It's so important because disability means so many different things based on experience. Some disabilities are apparent, some are not. Disability can be a temporary experience, it can be permanent, it can be progressive. It's precipitated by age, meaning at some point if you age, if you grow old enough, you're going to experience disability. And so it's about moving past tokenism to thinking about the variety of experiences.
Absolutely.
And another thing is paying people for their expertise. Often people seek out disabled people by saying, we're going to give you exposure, but exposure does not pay the bills. Yeah, right. We're the experts, disabled people, and so we need to be included in all aspects of the processes. And the burden shouldn't just be on us to educate others. So it's about working with us, working with creatives and experts, and then dedicating the resources to doing it right and providing training and support for your internal teams.
Absolutely. And, we want this to be a drumbeat that continues, right? We want it to resonate with brands and not a one and done thing. So what can we do to ensure that accessibility remains a focus for brands?
One phrase I like to say is that it's not accessibility, inclusion, it's not a product, it's a philosophy. Accessibility is a mindset, so we're not about box checking here. It's about making a sustained commitment. Brands need to in order to reach disabled consumers, and they need to reflect that internally. It's also an evolving process. Technology is ever evolving, so accessibility best practices are also evolving, and so we need to think about that and understanding that it's an ongoing journey. We've certainly come far, but we have a long way to go, so we need to really infuse it. Companies need to infuse that into their work and put those things into action. Again, emphasizing that one person can't speak for everyone, so it's important to have conversations with multiple people with disabilities to understand the diversity of our experiences and our perspectives within the community.
Absolutely. So how do we foster more of these types of conversations?
Disabled people are in every single community, so the better everyone kind of gets that understanding and bringing in these perspectives, the better the results are. So it's about identifying where companies are at, doing an internal audit of sorts to determine where you're starting, examining internally and externally. Who are your employees? What are their lived experiences? Where has accessibility entered into your work? And then engaging staff, engaging peers to identify those opportunities to build accessibility into the work and into the philosophy of the way that you're doing things and being innovative about that.
Absolutely.
Which is what we've done together, I
Absolutely.
think. You know? Yes.
Yeah, and it has been a journey that Google has been on for years and gathering learnings from a variety of perspectives and lived experiences, like you said. And accessibility is core to Google's mission, right? It's organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And we've been on a journey to include accessibility in everything we do, right?
Yes.
It's been so helpful to partner with your team, Andraéa LaVant. It really has been amazing. And again, it's an ongoing commitment at Google, and we're proud of the progress that we're making and that we are seeing. So thank you again, Andraéa, for being here today.
Thank you.
Now, I would love to end with an example of some amazing work that we have done with accessibility marketing in action. We recently launched a short film, A Coda Story, which shows how assistive technologies like live captions and Google Meet help connect more people.
Thanks.
I'm what's called a coda. My parents were both born deaf. I was not. When people in the hearing world learn that about me, they always want to know more.
You start out your forehead and then go out with your hand.
I've always had one foot in the deaf world and one in the hearing world. I translated a lot for my parents. It made us closer. Now that it's been over a year since we've seen each other in person, communication is more important than ever. Especially with this guy.
Who is that, Owen? Who is that? That's you!
It's their first time being grandparents, so they don't want to miss a single moment. And I don't either. We can't wait for you to meet him.
Yeah.